Shem Angel 48, Mihael. Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today. This is Taliesin McKnight, and we've made it to Shem Angel 48, Mihael. Now, in the Hebrew of this angel name, it is not the letter Kaf, it is the letter He. So there is a distinction between Mihael and Michael, at least in the spelling of the name. So I always encourage people, even if it's the same exact angel name, people can do what they want. But I that people, at least if it has a similar sounding name, or even the same name, to treat these as distinct. That's just how I encourage people to do it. People can do what they want, but I would say that Mihael with an H or a letter He is distinct from Mihael. But so Mihael governs from 25 degrees of Scorpio up until 30 degrees of Scorpio. So the last 5 degrees of Scorpio, Mihael. And this is an angel of protection, but also of foretelling the future, of divination, of knowing what is going to happen to you or to others. And in addition, this is an angel associated with fertility and with marital fidelity. So this Shem angel is associated with many different useful things. We have protection, fertility, marital fidelity, and then also foretelling of the future. So Mihael, again, fidelity. Let's say that you think that your partner may be unfaithful or something. So fidelity in a partner. Once again, and fertility, protection, and divination, being able to foretell what is going to happen with you. So let's take a look here. Let's look a little bit deeper at Mihael. Someone keeps calling me. So the divine attribute associated with this angel is hold on just a second here. The divine attribute is God the Father who sends forth. Athanasius Kircher's Latin in his Oedipus Egyptiacus has Deus Pater Mitens. Deus Pater Mitens, God the Father who sends forth. So that's pretty interesting. That's a little something to contemplate and to ruminate upon. And this is what Lazare Lenain's La Science Kabbalistique has to say about this angel. It says, this genius protects those who have recourse to him. They will have forebodings and secret inspirations about everything that will happen to them. So you get this idea of foretelling, being able to know what's coming up, intuition, inspiration of what's coming ahead. So you get this idea of divination and foreknowledge. It rules the generation of beings, so therefore fertility. Let's say that you're wanting to get pregnant, or you want to have children. Let's say that you want that type of fertility. This angel governs the generation of beings. So we have like fertility, and also it governs marital fidelity. So if you want to have a family, if you want to have a faithful partnership, Mihael is the angel to go to. And you know, not everyone is different, but for many, many people, this is something that they would like to have. a long-lasting, really meaningful relationship. Maybe people want to have children also. I think it's important whenever you work with the Shem angels to ask for something that's close to your heart. Something close to your heart. So if that's something important to you, don't be afraid to call upon the Shem angel and to ask for it. You may just find that your life transforms before your very eyes. And then we have the Psalm verse. The Psalm verse in the Masoretic text is Psalm 98, verse 2. That's Psalm 98, verse 2. The Lord hath made known his salvation, his righteousness hath he openly showed in the sight of the Gentiles, or the nations. So the Lord hath made known his salvation, his righteousness hath he openly showed in the sight of the Gentiles. In the Latin Vulgate or the Septuagint, this would be Psalm 97, verse 2. And then finally, let's take a look at what the Divine Kabbalah has to say. The Divine Kabbalah is a pretty late grimoire, the early 19th century, I believe. And it is a grimoire dealing with dream magic. So all 72 of the Shem angels can be worked with in dreams. The Divine Kabbalah says Mihael governs from the 17th of November to the 21st inclusively. The verse from whence is derived his name is the third verse of the 97th Psalm. That's using the Septuagint numbering. The Lord has made known his salvation. He has revealed his justice in the sight of the nations. So we have some things to contemplate here. You know, I've often divided working with the Shem angels into three main types of magic, or approaches, actually. We have classical ceremonial magic, where you'll have a scrying stone. Now, you have to be careful of fire. Fire safety is very important in magic. In fact, I think it's important to never leave a candle burning or anything burning when you're not present. Sometimes, you know, things have a tendency to catch fire when you're not present. But, you know, I think it's good to have the scrying stone elevated above the incense. Just a little tidbit of information. This is just something that I've always followed and I have been taught and I've always kind of carried forward, is not to use iron. Some people believe that iron could interfere in scrying. Now, some people may have been using iron for years to hold a scrying crystal and never noticed any negative result, and that's great. You know, I recommend if you want to try both ways, come to your own conclusion. But I've always avoided iron with the scrying ball holder. And I want to start going a little bit deeper into scrying with the Shem angels and into scrying with the spirits. So I think that'll be good for us to get into. For classical ceremonial magic, well, it doesn't have to be classical. You could have the circle marked on the ground. Again, in classical magic, the idea of a magic circle is a little bit different than modern magic, which is a wall of energy. The names, the divine names, are marked upon the ground. If you have a hardwood floor or something, it's very simple. You can use chalk, or you could paint a magic circle upon canvas or even paper. There's different things that you could mark your scrying, your magic circle upon. I recommend using a magic circle if you're going to use a scrying crystal. You could also sigil scry, which is to sit there and just look at the image as you pray to the angel and wait for inspirations. You may notice images, things popping up from the sigil itself. So sigil scrying is possibly a modern technique, maybe not. Even though it's not mentioned a lot in the grimoires, it might be something that was probably practiced in classical times as well. And then you have more of a modern magic approach to magic, where you might do a lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, lesser banishing ritual of the hexagram, and then you're going to maybe invoke the sign, the zodiac sign, and call upon the angel. I think a very simple approach of simply lighting candles and incense, calling the angel name several times, and then reciting the psalm verse as part of the call. This is my go-to. I don't do all this stuff normally. Normally, I just light candles, light incense, I call the angel name, and then I recite the psalm verse, and I have my prayer, and I'll have an interaction. Some people like to combine this with astral projection techniques. So there is more than one way to do things, and there are many different tools within a magician or witch's toolkit. So I think it's good to try different methods and see what works better for you. What works better for you may not be what works well for someone else. Another approach is the contemplative way, to really think about the divine attribute, to think about the psalm verse, to really contemplate and kind of internalize the aspects of the angel. And you may have synchronicities, you may have inspirations that come through with that. Watch your dreams. Whatever method you're using, very much important to pay attention to your dreams. If you don't remember your dreams, or not that well, you need to have a dream journal. This is how we move forward from where we are now, and we rise up bit by bit to where we want to be. For one thing, we're asking for things we want to manifest in our lives, things that are important to us, but also we have a whole magical training that's taking place. So the prayer, the contemplative, and the magical methods all really go together. I think that anyone that's working the prayer method should contemplate a little bit about the angel. Contemplate on what you want to manifest in your life. I think that it's really just emphasis, whether you're using the prayer method, which is valid, full-on ceremonial magic, or whether you're working with it more through a contemplative approach. I think all three of these really go together. And as I always say, it's better to do something than to do nothing at all. If you're not feeling very motivated for a full-on magical operation, light a candle, say a prayer, at least. So I always say this. The Shem angels, you don't have to use special timing with Shem angels. You don't have to. But right now, people around the world, as the sun is in the last 5 degrees of Scorpio right now people around the world are beginning to turn their attention to Mihael, which again, the Shem angel name in Hebrew is Mem Yud He, not Kaf or Chaf, Mem Yud He, Aleph Lamed, Mihael. So this should not be confused with Michael. Even if these were the same being, I think it's good to treat them as distinct, at least in the office. So that is what we have here with Mihael. So how is everyone doing today? As you can see, I got a haircut, and so let me see here. What else was I going to add? So yep, Shem Angel 48, Mihael, the last Shem Angel of Scorpio. And then I just wanted to add, I never use an intermediary zodiacal archangel. I've never found it necessary. Very few people that I know have used that. But the Divine Cabal, it's a different approach, has you call Barbiel, the Archangel of Scorpio, and then called upon using the permutation of the Tetragrammaton from Agrippa. This is all using classical Agrippa. And then you call upon the angel or ask him to send the angel. So I just feel, first of all, I feel that whenever I feel inspired to talk about something, even if it seems like I'm digressing, I feel like it's something that I should address. And then second of all, I just want to stress that there are many ways to do Shem angel magic, but I think just a prayer and a psalm verse is really enough to get all these same results. Maybe you won't see as much. Maybe you won't have such a vivid encounter. But look for the subtle, As I say, John Dee, as great a magician as John Dee was, he was not a scryer. He used Edward Kelly. If you look at the Greek magical papyri, you look in the Hygromantia, you look in the classical grimoires, often it'll say to use a scryer, to use someone gifted in that art. So not everyone, I think everyone should try to develop it. But scrying, if you have trouble with scrying, maybe try the astral projection method, or pay attention to your dreams. And then also look for synchronicities. Just because you don't hear a booming voice and see flashing colors and light or anything, that doesn't mean you're not having a successful operation. Very few people are going to have that. But I know that's real. I know that that's a real experience, from personal experience. Maybe not that elaborate, but pay attention to the subtle. Pay attention to your dreams. Look for synchronicities. And more than anything, look at results. So, anyway, I guess that's it for today. That is Shem Angel Mihael. He governs 25 to 30 degrees of Scorpio, the last quinary of Scorpio, associated with protection, foretelling the future, fertility, especially like having babies or whatever, fertility, and marital fidelity. So that's what the angel governs. So I encourage people to really think about something that's important to you, something that's close to your heart, and to approach Mihael with that and to ask for it. So anyways, so that is Mihael. Let me take a look here. Let me see if I have any comments or anything. All right. Everything looks good, so a lot more material to come out, y'all. Thank you so much for watching me. I really appreciate it. If you're coming in late to the live, here in a few seconds you'll be able to watch the full thing. So work with the angel, y'all, and let me know let me know how it works for you. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see y'all in the next video. Alright, have a great day, y'all.